uh, especially because you're a postic, you're going to see what he brought. Do you have this handy? Or
I can get it. What? Okay. What? Which volume?
it's the volume that has the Sirisa Omer in it.
There's two volumes, no?
Yeah, there are two volumes. This one is called Al Siddur Kavonas Sirisa Omer uh, Miran. So it has to do with the Shemesh Chelik Hayunim. That's what it says.
Okay.
Hashem shall mab hama'ala nitzutzi tahora l'tzorach zivug elyon. So this name mab does that. V'lo yega osach be'osi yosef, and you shouldn't really think about it in its letters. Or read them with its letters. Ki im b'derek b'kashas Ana Bakoach, only through this. But these are, he says, these are questions, are requests of Ana Bakoach, Sheyase Rabbi Nechunya ben Akona, etc. Ayin Sham. So let's go on. V'ayin lahashlim lahashem shava v'achlamo. Barosh Sifra Hagadamos Visharim, he says, etc. V'zechel Tashon Da. He called Hashem and his Karim Kam also the Haskirim V'lohotziach min Asafa V'lochotz. All of these names you can't say them out loud. Now we saw this in the Raf. V'chein Hashem shall mab shu Aleph Beis Gimel Yod, like that. Kosev Rashi is al Lashon B'Sanhedrin. He says like this. Where am I? B'Sanhedrin. Okay, there it is. She'asa l'chaskiro ad kan Lashon. V'ayin loho ba'od b'hashmatos and itfasa b'sof sefer hadaya. Os Aleph. So there's something here. Masha Kosev B'Zeh. Zima Masha Harav Zecha Ba'aser Iser Lahaski B'Piv Roshi Tevis the Ana Bakoach. So you shouldn't say the Rosh Tevis, he says. Mikan Sha'ala Ha'osius She'elu Ha'osius Redach Ha'yotzim Rosh Tevis Shehem Abgate, like that. And then he goes through the rest of the other three, two more. Haim Aspen Shem Ben Mab HaKolam Mab Asvel. This is mamish, a name that has 42 letters in it. So these are letters that you can't really say them out loud. El Rebbe Nechunya Tikun Tfidas Ana Bakoach Shehi Tfidas Bas Mab Tevos Asher Roshi Tevos Haim Hamab Asfon the Shem Mab. There are the 42 letters in the Mab. But the Tfidazu Kaven Shein now let's see what he said. So I guess you could say the Ana Bakoach. I guess that's what he's saying. Let's see. Called Kabul Dina. The Harav Kerem Shlomo. But you really should look over the Kerem Shlomo. 1 second. Kerem Shlomo Shosha Kosev Ki Roshi Tevas and his Karim to the Filis Ana Bakoach Enu Haim Atzman Shem Ben Mab. They are not actually the names of Mab. Lefi Sheshem Mab Enu Ben Mab Asfon, because the name Mab is not a 42-letter name. Ki Im Ben Mab Shemaham Al Derek Shem Ben Av She'enu Av Asfon. That when we come to the name Av, we're not talking about 72 letters, Ki Im Av Shemaham, but rather 72 names. So he calls Shem Ben Gimel Asvan Kanoida. So we know that it's 3 letters, and we're talking to the 72 names. Shem Ben Mab Muchrach Shi Yimsu Bo Mab Shemos. So you should therefore, our Mab actually has to be a reference to 42 different names. Below Mab Osius Levad, and not just 42 letters. L'leficha behechrach sherosh hachatevas the tefillas Ana Bakoach enum heim atzman shem ben Mab. That is not the name Mab. Shahare hema enum ela Mab osius. There are only 42 letters. Elohim rosh hachatevas shel Mab shemalchan, but they're actually the rosh hachatevas of the 42 names. Rebbe Nechunya ben Akona Yasati Vilosach Bepira Beseder Rosh Hatevu Shel Hamab Shemachim. So he organized it according to the mob names. Vofen Shaha Osa Rishon the Kol Teva Min Hamab Tables the Ana Bakoach who Atzbach of Osa Rishon the Shem Echot Min Hamab. That is actually the first letter of the name Mab. Mab Shafachim Kedeged the Teva Ahi. So it's a reference. He Okugon Os Aleph the Tavis Ana Bakoach he Gam Kain Ha Osa Rishon the Hashem Ha Rishon Min Mab Shema. So it's actually the first letter of those. V'chein Os base the Tavis Babes Bakoach. So therefore the two letters of the Tavis Bakoach He Ha Osa Rishon the Hashem Hasheni Ha Mab Shemos. V'chein Os Gimel the Tavis Gedula. He ha osa rishona to Hashem hashlishi min amab, etc. Goes like that. V'chem al derek zeh, az derek takish the kulam. You can compare this to all of them. Let me see 1 second here. Okay, the kulam. So then he says like that. V'zecha v'loshen the kerem shlomo b'biur le'etz chaim shar yud gimel perik yud gimel os gimel da. So we saw the kerem shlomo a long time ago. Hashem shel Ana Bakoach, he says, Shehu Kolum Zayin Pesukim. For call pasuk yesh bo shisha shemus, it has each pasuk has 6 names associated with the shem ramazim barosha tables shel osa pasuk, which is a really reference to those rosha tables that we said in the pasuk. Is that Ana Bakoach? A rosha tables shalachem are these letters. Okay, so the really argument is whether or not we can say these letters, and so far, well, let's see what he says. V'heim shisha shemus kadoshim sharoshe teva shalahem heim remuzim v'roshe teva shal tefilas ana bakoach. V'chein al derek zecha b'kol l'sheva pesukim. All of them represent the roshe tevos of different names. V'chein shana u'piris v'charucha bebi'ur the shar tes perik beis and oz daled of the Zechel Lashon, and this is what he says, and I quote this like this. So he said, first of all, Tzarak Leda ki Shem Hamab Hazech Rama, these letters, Enam Hazech Hashem Shuhu Av, like that, V'zechu Shem Ben Mab. So this is the name of 42 letters, Ki Kulo Ze Enu Ki Im Mab Osius. Ve'ein be'inyan mab shemos, but it's not va'anan. Excuse me. We're talking about 42 names, not 42 letters. V'im tachshav ki hamab shemos ha'edor be'hem hem ha'ksuv be'ana bakoach. So that's what we have there. The haina ana hu hashem harishon. So in other words, it's aleph, and then you go from there. Bakoach hu hashem hasheni. Ad milas alomos. Hu Hashem Hamab. This is the name of, I guess that's the mob. So how is it that we come and we could actually say them out loud? Let's skip through this. He says, where is it? He says, Shisha Shemus Rishonim, the first six names, Me'elu Hamab, Vahu ki zos va'ana bakoach he tefila ba'al b'chashatikin osach Rebbe Yehuda ben Konet. It's just a common. It's just a tefila, no different than any other. Remez Rosh tables, and there's a remez from the Rosh tables. Remez, he says, Shalah Rosh tables shall shemus a kadosh shall bein mab shemos. V'hu derek marshal shisha shemus a rishonim shall bein mab. And now he tells you these names. Here's one with an aleph, bet, gimel, so on and so forth, and he goes through them through the tzaddik. V'hem shemus hakodesh sheroshe table shel elu hashemos hem the aleph base gimel. Now I'm saying it like this because it seems his conclusion is going to be not to say it, but let's see, because he's going to say that you could say it. So we have those Rosh tables. He said, this is really a prayer. Ana Hashem, I guess I beseech you, Hashem, bekoach gedulas yimidcha, Yamin shalach, if your right hand, shu hachesed. So he says that this is actually, the words themselves are really a prayer. And that's what the prayer is like. Like, so for example, Kateitz Hashemesh. So she should release the binding that binds us. Shehut swur bound uma'aser shel galus shechina. So that's that idea. Kamosha kosev chosim Ta'uda Tatir. So the seal, I guess, I know what a Ta'uda is here exactly, but you have to release it. Except the, I guess, the celebration, or the right word for that for your people, which is the tefillah of the people. So he's saying over here like that. All of them are going to be like the same thing or something. Let me back up a little bit 1 second to make it a little easier here myself. Musudarim called him Mab Shemus. Over there, he actually, in the Tikkun Zohar, he says that all the 42 names are listed there. Ava b'sefer haparde shel Ramagzal, b'sefer hakonen. He says what? Hakonen. Let me see if I got the right place. I'm not in the right place. Okay, let me go over here. Sham Musudarim call Hamab Shemos Eloyu and Sham. So there are places where you could see all the 42 names. Velach Hamab Haim Shem Haim Kol Shem Echad Kum B'Chuva B'Shemus Ekia O Havaya O Adne. So he wants to show how actually they were routed together or bound together. Kamil Derek Marshall, like for example, here's an example, Shema Rishon, and I'm not going to pronounce it, Hu Kach, Ki Aleph Hu Makar Shem Ekya, it's actually the root of the name. V'chadalad Hu Hadalad Osios Shem Ekya, V'chayud Asara Osios Shel Shem Ekya Chamale. Each one of them is a 21. So Mem Kaf Aleph, it comes to the number Re. So he's showing, I think it could take some time and really work on this, but he's showing you how these letters wind up, which is a number 210. But so this next set of letters, I guess, I don't know if I could say it. The last part, Hu Shem Av Gazez, and he shows it to us like that, is number 72, Ravua Gazel, and also combining with the Ravua, which is the Yud, Yud K, Yud K Vav K, Shuhu Kapad. So you have Av Kapad, which I see in the Kriya Shemala Lamita, according to the Rav, that name. I don't know what we do with it, and now he's going to say. So it's Av Kapad, Hubagematria Ron. That's that name Ron that you see in the last of the name of the Malachim had that name, which is Lashon Rina. Besod renew the Yaakov Simcha, like that. Zecha became Shem Hasheni, who al derek Zecha Moshe before B'Shachar Ruach HaKodesh. Daf Nun Vav Amud Beis. Below Pirusham ki im chamisha o shish shema. So over there it only says 5 or 6 names. Below Zakina the Hishar L'Chashar. So we then merit to all the rest of them. V'Hashem Yarin Ein Ramein. Nimsas Lamad ki ein hamab osir shel avgitats. That let me see if ki elu hamab osir shel avgi. I just said it out loud. Hema Roshi Tevos Shel Shem Ben Mab Shemos. It's actually Roshi Tevos, is what it is. Roshi Tevos Shalachem Hem Elu, this name again. Ad Kan Lashon Rav Kerem Shlomo. So that's what the Kerem Shlomo said. He said that this is really a prayer, and the prayer happens to have a reference into something deeper. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. So let's go with Aronson the Daski Ledato, according to his thinking, Osa Mamab Asvam Hayotzim Erosha Teva Shal Tefilas Ana Bakoach, Enuchem Atzman the Shem Ben Mab. That's not the name Mab. It's a prayer, Ella Hem Rosha Teva Shal Mab Shemacham Nakulula B'Shem Ben Mab. So therefore, Emes Nachon Hadavar sheberosh ha'tevos de'elu hamamab asfon yotzim mab shemus HaKodesh, Ukaniska the head Yachabiksansa B'Shecha Baruch HaKodesham, V'kulam B'Sefer HaPardes, and all of them are over there too, he says. Shar Kof Aleph. Shar Prati, so he says Shar Prati Hashem is Perek Yod Bey, so that's where it's at. That's one place it's at. Ayin Sham Shekosov Shnei Drachim B'Zeh, so right, look over there, that there are two different ways to look at this. Because of Sham Ki Yesh O Der Shlishi, there's a third way B'Zeh. B'Sifra HaKadmoni, let me go back. V'chein Hu B'Harucha, B'Sefer Shar Shechashemos, L'Ramazal, Os Aleph Simon, so he gives the site reference. Now that's as far as I went with Rabbi Mimran. And his conclusion was that the names themselves of the saying of those names, of those letters, is not ma'akev. In other words, you could say them. So he says, V'sefer Hechalos, he said, the V'sefer Emek HaMelech, Hashar Yod Aleph, Perek Hey. So he says, Uva Acher Sham, Hashar Yod Zayin, Perek Yod Aleph. He says a lot of site reference of the Siddur HaGroa Zal. I'd like to see that Siddur of the Groa. Shahavale Maharana, this is Maharana, okay, Halevi Zal. Lahan v'shorish ha'devarim mitikuni rabezocher b'tikun ayin. That's the last tikun. V'ayin l'chagua zal b'biur l'shem. The chaser shem, the chaser sham harbe. There's a lot living there. So he's going through different people. Became kosa b'sefer kagan hayarak al tikuni rabezocher b'biur l'shem. Became b'mikzah siduri ha'lamaran b'shazal. So there you see other places where the 42 names are actually listed. Memab Asfon and Niskarim. The Sidram B'derek Tefillah, and they're ordered in a way that they're a prayer. V'zechel L'shonom. Acher kach yomer b'gavana vidui. Let's say v'yadav. Is what is it? V'yadav asmuchim al libo. With his, say it with your heart next to your hands next to your heart. V'yomer toldos yotze b'kol os b'shem mab shetekilaso is the first one is this name. Elokim. So this stands for Elokim. What I don't know what he's saying. Let's see. Elokim b'Yisrael Gadol Yehudacha Tisagvenu Tzedgasecha Kadosh. Ray Olilus Soneno Tihur Nachalascha, all of that idea. V'tachas called Tevach of the cause of Hashem HaKadosh Hayotzim Osa Os, this which is like this Aleph and then the Bet and then the Gimel and then the Yud, the Tov, the Tzadeh, so on and so forth. All of those have a name that goes along with it. V'ayin Sham Kuhum Mab Shmahon. So what he's just telling us is places where you can find it. So the Rishash didn't get into this. Ferreira. I don't know his name, Avraham Ferreira. I don't know. V'sidach Yare also Mechaduras Rav Simchas Cohen, he says. In Mechaduras Mecharasha Hodaya, that's the Daya Zal. V'saskiro Harbe Harav Pesachanayim B'bir L'Gavadas Birchus Shema Koleno. Now we're going through different things. I don't mind going through it. I want to hear the names of the people. Bakoach Koleno of Arav Marie Sadavon, he says, Val V'Hagahosov, the Shar Ruach HaKodesh. He's just naming places where you can find the 42 names, and Yikrahim Hagahos Hadaya. Because of Shamki Bahashemesh Shebetefilah Chaniskeres, those names in the Tefillah that we're mentioning here. Yesh Kamishinoyim Mina Amar B'Shar Ruach HaKodesh. V'chein Chun Niskeres B'Sefer Or Einayim V'Hagol HaKadosh Maratz Mekamarno. He says, Zechu Losha Alashono, Chelik Beis, Eric Abgitats. Excuse me, I said it again. So let's see what he says. Ba'ofen Shemikol Elu Harayos, Mucha Shafer, the Mirosha Teva Shel Elu Hamamab Asfon Yotzim Mab Shemas HaKodesh come out to these 42 letters. So that's the game here. Ela Shebikol Makom B'toch Divrei HaRavzal, Sheyatzu Atik La'el Nira Od. So I guess Atik, Benny copied it. I don't know. Nira Od. The Af Sheva Shemas Yotzim Mitziras Hamav Asfon Atzman. Also the names that come if you put together the letters. Shem, for example, is Aleph Base, etc. Av Hema Shemas Kodesh. So he's Kodesh. So it says that these are also holy names. The Einam Roshi tables Ba'alma, they're not Roshi tables by themselves, they're just common Roshi tables, Ba'alma. Shel Shemas Hayotzim Bechem, Shehim Lokein, Lama Azar Razal, the whole Siyam Bepiv, because he said when you come back to the Rav, he says the Rav says don't say them. V'chein Niro Melosha and the Zohar, V'kak Kodesh, B'raya Hamemdam, B'parshas Ba'ar, the Zechel Shono, Sheva Shemalchim Inun. There were 7 names there. The Baham Mab Asviam, and in the 7 names, he says 7. There are 42 letters. Adkan Lashono. Haracha the Hedya Chatziros, the Mitziraf Hamab Asvan Atzman Yotzin Sheva Shemas Shem Abge, and etc. like that. Became Timsa Od Be'ezim Makom Beloshan Azohar HaKodesh, the Kara the Shem Ben Mab Asvan, where there it calls it over there 42 letters. So that if you look straight into that, Shehem Yechaza Benimu, I don't know, the Hamab Asfon Hem HaShorish. So this is the way to think about it. And the 32 names, those are the branches from the root. The call Os Min Hamab Asfon Hi HaShorish B'menda Yotzach Ha'anav Shuchach Hashem HaNimshach B'Yotz Min Ozai. L'Rmolski Ha'anaf, this is the reference here. Ki Ha'anaf Na'utz, it sparks. V'shorish Ba'anaf. So it's they're shining into each other, sparking into each other. Ein Sham. Became Kosev Ov Sham La'ereb the Hamab Shemos Hem Levush El Hashem Ben Mab, so that the Mab Shemos are a levush to the Shem Ben Mab. I'm not sure how that works, what he meant by that. Harili Yanenu the Mab Asvon, but in our, what happened? Where call is on hold? Oh, I went over the time. Okay, so we're going to come back to this. I didn't realize I went over the time, and we'll go over the time. We'll go it again tomorrow. That's Hashem.